Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another session with the Empire Empress. I hope everyone is subscribing and sharing videos, right? So, I understand that a lot of people have been watching, supporting me. I've been getting a lot of positive feedbacks on the videos, and I sincerely appreciate it. But I need you guys to really get on your phones and send it out there. I need you guys to share with people. You never know who's going through what. Not because family members don't talk about what they're going through or friends don't talk about what they're going through means that they're actually not going through anything. So please share, okay? People aren't always open and transparent about what they're experiencing and their issues. But today on the Empire Empress, we're going to talk about these helicopter parents. Ah! Helicopter parents like myself sometimes, that we try to gear our children in the way that we want them to live their lives, right? We try to control them, their moves, try to make decisions for them as far as their religious preferences, their relationship preferences, their food preferences, and the other things, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about the helicopter parents. And, you know, being this way, is it a good thing for your child? Is it a bad thing for your child? A lot of times we feel like as parents, and you notice I said we, right? I said we. So a lot of times as parents, we feel like the way that we lived our lives are safe, is best. The way our parents raised us was just the best way. Or your grandparents raised you was just the best way. And so we feel like we're making the best decisions by our children, right? We feel like we are growing them in the best possible way. Sometimes you're setting up your child up for major depressive disorder and suicidal thoughts. Sometimes as parents, we're the ones who push our child to the limit, or children, sorry, to the limit where they have lost their self-control, they have lost their dignity, they have lost their self-esteem. And so we have to work on instilling values and helping them make their own decision that's in their best interest. And we also have to teach them that whatever decisions that they make, they have to abide by the consequences of those decisions. So, I had a friend who pretty much wanted to explore the option of dating same sex. And of course, her family was thoroughly against it based on religious practices, based on, the way we were raised. But sometimes we don't know why people's preferences change as far as where they hang out, what they like to do, who they date. And unfortunately, when we force our children and we instill our values in our children, it sends them over the edge sometimes where they feel like they're able to express themselves the way they want to. They become rebellious, they become really depressed, and now they start having suicidal thoughts. And you don't want it to get to a point where you say to yourself, I wish I knew. I would have done things differently. But then it's too late because you already lost your child. So, as parents, I need us to be open-minded. I was raised by parents who they're big on discipline. I'm not saying middleman. I'm saying they're big on discipline. They're huge, okay? My father was a successful businessman. My mother was a teacher for many years. And growing up, they had certain standards they wanted me to uphold, all right? They wanted me to go to church, which is Seventh-day Adventist. They wanted me to, have that lifestyle where you're married before having intercourse and these kind of things. Boy, I'm happy. It sounds like a nice, ancient way to live your life. Unfortunately, I was not interested. And you have to understand, as teenagers, as young people, we already have our mindset on how we want to live our lives. We already have our mindset in what interests us and what doesn't interest us. All right. So at the end of the day, we're going to explore. We are going to explore, but those morals and values that you instill in your child still stays with them. All right. Um, Regardless, I was, my decisions, of course, were impacted by friends, but within myself, I knew what was right and what was wrong. All right. Not saying I won't explore, but I still came back to the roots. I still came back to the baseline of what I was taught and the values that were instilled in me. So, you know, if you were raised in a particular church, and of course, everybody knows their church is the best, or everybody says their church is the best, and your child decides that they don't want to go to that church, are you going to force your child to go to that church, or force your child to go to church because we know it's the best way to grow up? What if your child's not ready? Okay, so now they're in church and they're sleeping with all the church members, or they're in church and they're getting people on the outside pregnant, or they're in church and they're just going to church so they don't want to hear your mouth, but they're not living a godly life. What's the point? What's the point of going? We're not interested. Okay? It doesn't make sense. And then we have more corrupt people joining these institutions because of these things, right? We're trying to uphold standards or make our parents happy and not ourselves. So make sure that when you're trying to instill value in your children and you're trying to guide them, make sure you're telling them, okay, it would be nice if you are part of a church, but not force them to go to your particular church. You want them to do what's acceptable and what feels comfortable to them, but not to you. See what one of the wrong things that we do as parents is, some of the things that we wanted to do in our life and we couldn't do it, we force our child to do it. Right? Some of the accidents that we made and the mistakes that we had, we force our child to walk a certain line because we don't want them to make those same mistakes, and we don't want the same things happening to them. Unfortunately, we have to say that our mistakes are who made us who we are as parents. And you have to allow your children to go out there and make their own mistakes and stumble across their own boards and their blocks, fall on their face, drop, bruise their knees, and move on from there. Because that's the best lesson learned. They don't want to hear us yap and they don't want to hear us talk all day. And you notice again, I said they. They don't. They're more receptive receiving information from other people on the outside. And so when they feel like they cannot talk to you, they end up talking to people on the outside, which happens most of the time. So as parents, I really want you to focus on speaking to your child more, like educating them and not forcing them to live a life against their will. So if you notice that your child has some tendencies that you may not be happy with, or they're dating same sex, okay, you want to say to yourself or try to figure out why, what interests them, right? And if it's something that they're stone set on, you have to find a way to get help and educate yourself. Understand your child and let your child know that whatever they're going through or whatever they feel, that you're there to embrace them and support them, or whoever they choose to love. You may not be happy with it. You can express that, but I'm still going to love you because you're my child. What you don't want to do is say, you're not a part of my family. I can't accept that. I don't want to have people around me. I'm not interested. Don't come around me with that. That's evil. Where you get that lifestyle from? And all these things. Because now you're forcing your child to even go out there and explore other people who will understand them and accept them for their decisions, right? Now you're putting thoughts into their head like you don't love them anymore, you don't care about them, and you don't want to be a part of their life. And so the next thing starts going through their head is, once they're depressed, they're going to start thinking about suicide. When all you had to do was embrace your child and figure out, why is it that they're choosing to go this way? Maybe something had happened. Maybe they're just comfortable with that, right? No, but we understand the way they were raised, so we embrace everybody should be married to a man or married to a woman, and then you go out there, they go be with somebody that they don't want, that person is beating on them, that person is abusing them. Sometimes we have the stepfathers that's coming in and sleeping with your daughters or sleeping with your sons, and we're not paying attention to those things. We're paying attention to the things that don't mean anything. Who somebody chooses to love or who somebody allows in their life to love them does not change the fact that they can still be successful regardless of who loves them. But what changed the things about them is the people, the negative people that they're letting in, and the one person they felt that could support them is not supporting them, which is you, right? So as parents, we have to be open. Because if you're not open, you're going to lose your child. And everybody out there who has lost a child understands that's one of the greatest pain. Whether you lost your child by stress, whether you lost your child by an accident, death, suicide, whatever it is, it's one of the hardest pain that a parent can face. And you have to ask yourself, what is more important? Now, I know some of the shutters out there, and I'm stepping on everybody's stone. I'll say, if my son is going to be this or my daughter is going to be this, me rather them dead. That's ignorancy. And I'm going to tell you this, people who are ignorant cannot be successful. Right? You don't want ignorance to stop you from loving your child. You don't want cultural values to stop you from loving your child. Because you know in your heart and heart as parents that when we did our thing, our parents still loved us and put up with us regardless. And who people choose to love, whatever career they choose to do, what they choose to dress like, whatever they choose to participate in life does not stop them from being kind, loving, and does not stop them from being successful. It doesn't. What stops them is the lack of support. So now you're focused on everything that you want your child to be, but you're not focused on the things that you needed to be. You're not focused on the goals that you had for yourself in order to be a successful parent. You're not focused on why that child went that way or made the decisions that they made. We're so focused on them living a life that we wanted to live and we weren't able to live. And we're so focused on protecting them. Okay? No, I am against zero drug policy. I'm not for violence and I'm not for drugs. Okay, but I also do know that you can lecture, you can educate your child, and at the end of the day, if they go out there and still choose to do drugs or they still choose to drink, okay, there's an underlying issue that your child is dealing with based on some negative exposure they've had based on genetic reasons. And all you can do is support and love them. You can't turn around and say, oh, because he's smoking weed or he's doing drugs or drinking, that's not my child. That's not somebody you want to be. That's not the true, genuine love of a parent. And sometimes we're lacking that inner love for ourselves. We don't even know how to love our own creations. So, I just want to say this to say, as parents, you have to ask yourself what's more valuable to you. You can love somebody and support them and help them to maximize their abilities in every way. Or you can break them and kill them. And sometimes as parents, we're killing our own children. We don't believe them. We don't support them. We force them to live a life that we want them to live and not what makes them happy. Some people aren't cut out to be parents. They're cut out to give birth. They're cut out to provide sperm. And if there's somebody out there that can raise your child in a better way, I would rather you go that way than break the walls, than break the support, than break that love. And so I want you guys to think about some of these things and how ignorance comes in the way of our valued system and how our mindset can change just because of ignorance, how we can make poor decisions and how we can kill the people that we claim that we love so much, which is our children, just because we're ignorant to culture. Not because I choose to date somebody of the same sex doesn't mean I'm low. I have no morals and I have no values. Doesn't mean that I can't go out there and get a PhD and a master's and I can't be successful. That doesn't mean that I still can't take care of you as my parent. Doesn't mean that I can't shine and become that child that you desired. No, because I'm not living the way that you want. Not because I choose to party don't mean I'm worthless. Not because I choose to wear a mini skirt or a short shorts tonight mean that I'm a whore or I'm of no use. Not because I choose to date somebody who's younger or older means I'm non-ambitious. Watch the words that come out of your mouth to your children, because you're breaking them. You're not building them. And some parents aren't worth being called parents. You need to eliminate yourself out of their lives and let them explore and let them shine without you. So if you're going to be a parent wholeheartedly, or be none at all. And if you're going to be a parent, be an example. You tell your child, don't talk to that dirty boy down the street. You tell your child, don't talk to that dirty girl on the street. But every different week, you have a different man coming in the house. Every day, you have a different man calling your phone. You're out there living a dirty life and sleeping with people for money. You out there selling drugs and selling weed and hustling. But you're telling your child not to do it. And I'm telling you something as parents. If it's okay for us to do something, it's okay for your child to do it too. And I want you guys to meditate on what I just said. Because a lot of these things are what's causing the crime rate. It's what's causing that mental health population to grow in our culture. Our economy is not getting any better just because of our mindset. Please, guys, share this video. Share love. We all have room to grow as parents, and we all have room to experiment. And it's a learning lesson. But are you open to learning? Are you open to supporting your child? Subscribe.